Welcome to Truth in Christ, everyone. I'm so glad that you could join me for another great message. Today, we're going to be looking at that parable that tells us one will be taken and one is left. Now, for pre-tribulation rapture believers, this is proof text and evidence that the rapture will happen before the tribulation. Obviously, because when you look at it, it says 2 men are in a bed, 2 men are in a field, 2 women are grinding together at a mill. And in each situation, one person is taken and the other individual is left. And the reasoning here is that since these people are living their daily lives together and people are being taken and other people are being left, that must mean that the rapture will happen before the tribulation. And this is proof text and evidence of that. However, when confronted with the context that the people are being taken are not being taken for their good, but to their detriment, to their hurt, to their doom, they begin to finesse the word Paralambano. And Paralambano is the Greek word that is translated as taken in this parable. So whether it be the 2 men in the bed, or the 2 women grinding together, or the 2 men that are in the field, the ones that are being taken, the Greek word used here will be Paralambano. Now, the argument is, and I've heard both pre-tribulation rapture believers and mid-tribulation rapture teachers also teach that Paralambano is always a good thing. Now, we'll look and see if that's true in a second, but the Greek word Paralambano, let's look at how it is used. It means you can take someone with you as an associate or a companion. Metaphorically, it means you can accept or acknowledge someone to be such as he professes to be, not to reject, not to withhold obedience. The second meaning is to receive something transmitted, an office to be discharged, or to receive with the mind. That is something that is transmitted of authors from whom the tradition proceeds, or by the narrating to others by instruction of teachers. And to simplify that, that means you can take someone with you. You can receive somebody in some type of capacity or office. You can receive someone to be your spouse. It can also mean to receive an oral message. So someone could say something to you, and if you receive what they said, that is in Greek Paralambano. But now the real question is, does Paralambano always have to be positive? Because that is the argument. Well, when we look at Matthew the 4th chapter, it tells us that the devil comes to tempt Jesus, and in the 5th verse, the devil takes, in the usage of the word Paralambano is used here, that is what's translated as taketh. The devil takes Jesus up into the holy city and setteth him on a pinnacle of the temple, and says to him, If thou be the Son of God, cast thyself down, for it is written, He shall give his angels charge concerning thee, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash thy foot against a stone. And again, in the second usage here of Paralambano, when we look at the 8th through 9th verse, the devil takes Jesus into an exceeding high mountain, and shows him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them, and saith unto him, All these things will I give thee, if thou wilt fall down and worship me. Now, to point out the elephant in the room here, Paralambano, according to mid-tribulation and pre-tribulation rapture teachers, is a positive thing, and that the person that does the taking has no bad intentions or ill intentions towards the person or persons that are being taken. However, we see an example in which Paralambano is used twice, in which the devil had bad intentions towards the Christ to try and destroy him, to try and discredit him, to try and tempt Jesus into throwing himself down. He takes him to a high mountain and offers him in exchange for worship all the kingdoms of the world. So this argument that Paralambano has to always be a positive thing is a false teaching. It's not true. There is evidence here that Paralambano can be a bad thing, and that the person that does the taking can have bad intentions towards the individual that is being taken. So now, with that out of the way, let's kind of just run down the context real quick of the passage of one being taken and one being left. When we look at Matthew, the 24th chapter, the 37th through the 41st verse, this is the passage leading into that parable, it tells us about the coming of the Son of Man being like in the days of Noah. Look at this. It says, "For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away." So it is actually setting the context for people being taken away. The wicked in the days of Noah were took away by the flood. It says, "So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be." And then it goes into the parable about two being in the field. One shall be taken, the other left. Two women shall be grinding at the mill. One shall be taken, one shall be left. But the days of Noah was to set the context for the coming of the Son of Man. And when he comes, the people that are being taken away are ones that are going to be destroyed. Now let's look at Luke's record of this parable. It says, "I tell you in that night." Now remember, Jesus comes as a thief in the night. Now the thief in the night reference is not a pre-tribulation rapture thing. This happens at the coming of the Son of Man. This is the second coming. If you read Revelation, the 16th chapter, Jesus does not come as a thief before the tribulation. He comes as a thief towards the end of the tribulation. It says, "I tell you in that night there shall be two men in one bed. The one shall be taken, the other shall be left. Two women shall be grinding together, the one shall be taken, and the other left. Two men shall be in the field, the one shall be taken, and the other left. And they answered and said unto him, Where, Lord?" That's the question. "Where, Lord?" He said unto them, "Wheresoever the body is, thither will the eagles be gathered together." So now when we're talking about the bodies, the real question now is, where are the bodies and what condition are they in? Now let's just cross-reference that with Matthew, the 24th chapter, the 28th verse. This is the same teaching from Christ. He says, "For wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together." So now we know that when the bodies are gathered together, they will not be alive. And some translations will translate eagles as vultures. Now I've heard some people try to say, yeah, well, the carcass, they're resurrected beings. A person that is resurrected is not dead, but rather they are alive. It is saying that these people are being taken, and where they are taken, where their carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together. So what are they gathered together to do? Well, it's to feast on the carcasses. According to Revelation, the 19th chapter, there's an angel that cries to the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, "Come and gather yourselves together." Now look at this. Matthew, the 24th chapter, and Luke, the 17th chapter says, the eagles will be gathered together. But now in Revelation, the 19th chapter, it is telling us that the angel cries to the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven to come and gather yourselves together, just like the eagles will do in Matthew, the 24th chapter, and Luke, the 17th chapter. It says, "Gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great God, that ye may eat the flesh of kings, and the flesh of captains, and the flesh of mighty men, the flesh of horses, and of them that sit on them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great." So the people that are being taken in this parable are not being took for their own good. It's to their detriment. It's to their hurt, to their doom. They're being taken to a place to be unalived. And the birds or the eagle, or some translations will say the vultures, will gather together. And we see that in Revelation, the 19th chapter, the birds of the air are told to gather together to feast on what? Carcasses. Now, this isn't even an in-depth study, but you can see that the context is that the people are being taken. This is not the rapture. You don't want to be a part of this. This is people that are being took to the great battle at the last day, and they are defeated by Christ. And the birds will gather together to feast on their bodies. And this is the context that pre-tribulation and mid-tribulation rapture teachers are trying to avoid by trying to finesse the word Paralambano. They need it to be a positive thing, but they have a tendency to leave out the fact that the devil took or Paralambano Jesus to the pinnacle of the temple and to the high mountain, not for his good, but with bad intentions towards him, to do him harm, to discredit him, to destroy him. And you see, this type of manipulation of Greek is the reason why there are so many pastors and preachers out there that are hesitant to use Greek and Hebrew, leading some to even scoff and say, well, you know, with Greek, you could basically prove that the lake of fire is an ice house. Are they being facetious? Yes, but are they far off the mark? No, because there are people that will try and manipulate the original languages. And that's the reason why so many are hesitant to use it. However, Paralambano does not change the context. Paralambano is not always used in a positive manner, and as we have proven, it can be used in a negative manner. Therefore, you cannot avoid the context that the people that are being taken are not taken for their good, but to their doom. They're taken to be unalived at the last day. Now, I hope you found this video informative and edifying. And as I always say, like, share, comment. Every interaction with this channel is going to help this channel out with the algorithms. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button down below or the follow button on Rumble. And as always, turn on that notification bell and set it to all, because if you don't, you're not going to get notified every time I upload a video, and that makes your subscription absolutely useless. And for ways to support this channel, you can become a Romans 9:1 supporter. It's 99 cents a month. You get a few perks, like you get to watch these videos before everybody else. But as always, these videos are always free to you. It's just a way of thanking people that become a Romans 9:1 supporter. Also, you can check the description box down below for other ways to support this channel or give us a super thanks. God bless you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.